On the Wolverine, which I'm not sure we've seen him much on Wolverine. I could be mistaken there, as Zealous is going to hold that off angle with the Bucky, trying to get shields up, and here comes the group walls for days. A full structure being created as Spark Chief is going to immediately take out Azure.
Yeah, what the hell is Nightmare cooking? Usually it's like Mace. If anyone's going to be randomly on Wolverine that they're not supposed to, it's Mace, and he's not playing, and Luca's never played Wolverine in an official match. And this is quite a vibe-based comp, a day of, if you will. And, you know, these are ranked demons. They could play anything. But this is really weird, because Kendrick not on Bucky is confusing me as well.
Yeah, it's like, you know, they're hitting them with confusion comp, you know what I mean? It kind of gets their head a little bit. It's unique, it's different. You know, this is something we may have not seen that could have been in the scrimming side of things, a little bit off of the screen, but it seems to be, whoa, I was going to say working for them as they press in, but Energy going to get an early pick there on Luca as the passive was clearly gone, and the ultimate's in the side right now of Nightmare as they pop one. Out goes the invisible barrier, boundary, excuse me, and here comes the armed and dangerous. Are we going to get a cracking impact landing on anyone? Not from what I've seen yet.
Yeah, with the 50% ult charge that Luca had on the Wolverine, this is an important swap to just go back to something normal for Nightmare, because surprising FlyQuest has not worked out so far, and half the time bank has gone as a result. So they're sticking with the triple Vanguard, I guess. I don't know if Kendrick, now that he used the ult, would want to go to the Bucky, and Malenia sticking on it. So Nightmare trying something different for sure.
Yeah, I like the idea there. Luca with a teleport from the back, or just essentially walling off that backline strategist area. It could be good in a push position when you're driving the supports or strategist back into that corner, and then you wall them off like that. Could be a crazy play, because that wall has so much more value, that teleport has so much more value than just being a movement ability. And here we go, as we are going to see some damage out being traded back and forth. Ultimate charge gaining. Gasklin has ult out. Spark Chief going to take out Luca down again. Nightmare going to have to drop back because they don't have much. They do have the dunk, though. Malenia gonna find 1, 2. Malenia popping off, trying to look for 3. Can they make it all the way? No, out goes the invisible. Oh my goodness. As Zelos falls as well, and that could be enough to get him this point.
All right, a 1v6 out of Malenia to make this work after the fight started at a number.
I'm sure a ton of you guys in Ladder have seen the egos of duelists, right? As a Vanguard, I'm allowed to say that without getting punched in the face, but it does seem like you need to have that confidence, because when you do, you just play better. If you start doubting yourself, you don't have the space taken, you're afraid to make ultimate plays, and it kind of messes with you, as we see a lot of success on that first point.
Just Nightmare are going up against all the mains of the FlyQuest side, and Kendrick wanted to be aggressive, looking for a good strangling prison. When there's a Magneto shield in your face, you have to wait it out, and Nightmare are in trouble. They're now getting pulled and walled off by the just better neutral fight from FlyQuest, and when it rains, it pours. You have Energy who's putting shots from above. Nightmare, this is not the same team that went the distance against Rad Esports the other day.
Yeah, the momentum definitely seems slowed up. It seemed like that play was heavily driven off that ult. The Kraken Impact really had a ton of value, and they did obviously support it with Baser using that invisible boundary. But, you know, you're right. Outside of that, it seems a little more favored on the side of Fly, who just feels like they're playing with a little more confidence, owning this early. We talked about how this point is, you know, it's not too bad to hold on points. You see a lot of fights end here, as here comes the dunk. Gaskin looking for that Meteor M. Will they find value? Bang! Down goes Baser. Good patience there, waiting for the last second to turn and find a new location. Not having eyes on does not allow that Invis to play confidently, as Light's gonna dunk on Kendrick, and Spark Chief gonna take out Azure.
This is tough. Light has shown his experience on the Wolverine, besting Luca, going for assassinations in the back, well supported by the team, and in the chaos that was an Invisible Woman bound. In a chaotic environment like ranked, like this is where Nightmare's playground has happened and where they've really grown and built this roster from. But this is Nightmare that need to kind of clean up this map 1. They only have a minute left to push. We'll see how the Strangling Prison goes.
Yeah, we begin again with the dunk that did land on a few in the up in the sky. Energy gonna try to turn that around. Energy, a very confident duelist, very strong duelist as well. Does get the reset there on Kendrick. Kendrick not on the Bucky, has my mind blown on the Groot, though clearly a strong Groot, and here comes the third. Does find purchase onto the Wolf, who does escape, so not gonna get another reset. Ooh, I might as well too soon. No, I did not. Hold right back. Energy trying to relocate back to the team, as the team is still holding at this very first entrance.
Oh, yeah, Nightmare could be stalled out a little bit. Scarlet Witch to give Azure the window of the team up for the next 15 seconds. The kidnap, though, from Light, taking the Magneto. The self-bubble to buy time. The strangling prison from Spark Chief getting the rest of Nightmare. But somehow, Azure saved himself with the Meteor and Nightmare's follow-up is on the way. But can the ambulance get there in time? It's the Invisible Woman barrier from Cooper's copy on the Loki. Nightmare have to take a fight in it, but they're also being slowed.
OT here in this position after that pick. Odds are back in the side of Fly as they are up numbers. Armed and dangerous. Here comes the throw again from Gasman and Meatball. Trying to find somebody, but the reset Melania. Melania's gonna get two. Energy gonna turn that right back around though. Oh my goodness, a double pull. Here comes the alt tune from Energy. I feel it coming. Yep, and here comes the reset on those clones. Bang, down goes two. Turns around immediately. Nice angle, but unfortunately the bubble up to keep them in the fight. Energy gonna get another, and that likely will have to be the end here for the push on Nightmare.
Well, it's a good thing this is a best of 5. I'm such a huge Nightmare, like Ace was the whole reason Nightmare even capped. So I'm investing in whatever Melania wants to play and Melania gets. He got pulled, was able to escape, and Nightmare tried to hold the door. There was a good pull from the Invisible Woman to get Spark Chief in a bad spot, but there's so much good cooperation from the FlyQuest side to even bite back and get a pick on a strategist. But that's the reason you run the Rocket Raccoon. But Nightmare need to make the most out of this moment.
Yeah, Loki, a ton of pressure and a ton of damage when she had 3 clones out. That res was insanely massive for the side of Baser. Well done there to keep the numbers even. You can see just already the space being owned. When you all go against a group comp without running the group, it just buys you so much free space, and that's why Groot is widely considered one of the best, if not the best, vanguards in the game right now, as we are going to get these early strategist ultimates pop. Fly trying to find a pick there on Luka. Very weak, does get it, and manages to take this point for the pressure very early. There comes the copy right back, as you hear a ton happening activated as we do get invisible boundaries on both sides. Here comes the reset out of the clones. Clones do not get healed up during that ultimate, so you can just continue the reset. Gasland with a nice pick there. Zelos, Kendrick getting 2. Can he get more? Yes, 3. Kendrick gonna clutch up, take out 4, get that quad, and allow them to hold on.
Oh, the point was captured. Unfortunately, there was side of FlyQuest, and they got 3 ults to do it, and they're pretty huge ults.
Yeah, momentum shifting forward. I didn't even notice the pick early. It was a Venn diagram of invisible boundaries that got me confused. As Energy gonna shut this down. It should be enough for them to take this at this point, as the numbers are just way too much in their favor, and FlyQuest is going to take home map 1.
2, 2, 1.
Well, it's a good warm-up map for Nightmare for sure.
Ton of off angles. Again, no group match. We are going to see double shield comp on the side of Nightmare, and we are going to have the Hellas through now, so we can see how Melania versus Energy looks in this first set of 1v1 Hella battles.
For sure. Nightmare have banned Hella almost in every single match. Just Melina, this is not his most preferred hero. Still one that he excels at despite how his feelings towards it. But Energy has been known as a server admin on this hero. As you have FlyQuest already advancing, using the mag shield. There's some pressure from behind. Cooper's taking damage. And maybe if FlyQuest are waiting for Light to get in position for a good kidnap, that could be the win con this early. But if Nightmare are going to keep giving up space, then FlyQuest are going to take it.
And here we go, the Kraken impact very quick as Kendrick gets tackled. Nice take there by Light, finding an opportunity and collapsing while the team was distracted. They are going to lose Luka. The res goes right back on Kendrick. Spark Chief going to find another with Azure, and they're just kind of making it happen again. The momentum just so heavily on the side of FlyQuest as they are walking this thing back through and starting off virtually almost getting the full point. There is going to be one on, as we are going to see Energy getting 1 pick on Kendrick. Down goes Baser, down goes
Melania just got pushed to the edge by Energy, and Energy, man, with a big diff in that 1v1, and no res from Baser that I see quite yet. So FlyQuest could really push the envelope here if they get a good strangling prison. But Spark Chief needs to push up, and I think they just want to get cart progress.
Yeah, the space owned here. Energy playing these long lines of sight, which, you know, Hella dominates those, does have the Goddess of Death ready to utilize should need be, but it is going to have a full 5 set of ultimates on both sides. Nightmare on the Rocket to help with the res situation and to enable the Bucky a bit, as we are going to see the Venn diagram, the double invisible boundary, and just nobody making plays yet. The 1v1 begins as Melania finds energy. Down goes Sparky from Baser, and it looks like Nightmare is finding their footing.
Absolutely. Like, it was such a good start from FlyQuest to go in off their strangling prison. It was responded by the Pizza Demon Invisible Boundary, but what was the real kicker and the real killer is Luca's huge Eye of Agamotto is sort of off screen, but it stunned most of FlyQuest and allowed Nightmare to capitalize on that with a full team wipe when they did not get wiped by the trigger being pulled by FlyQuest first. So Nightmare have stabilized, but it's all up to this Goddess of Death and maybe a Meteor M to set the pace for Nightmare.
Yeah, it is still going to be an even spread here. Obviously, you know how devastating those Wolverine ults, that last stand can be. So you do have the Meteor M. And as I say that, they look for one and find nobody, as nobody gets taken back towards the squad. It was a good idea, try to tackle back towards the team, but no connection there, as we are going to have advantage back on the side of Nightmare, who's holding on in this alleyway for as long as humanly possible.
Oh, and Light isolates himself out of line of sight from his supports. That can't heal him up despite the good tackle that he had. Now you got a Kraken Impact. The res is coming in from Baser, a Goddess of Death. That is the only thing standing for FlyQuest. So I think now it's time for FlyQuest to lock in, because clearly Nightmare have woken up.
Yeah, Baser actually showcased, I think this is the third final hit now, the power of Rocket. When you hold the left click, a rare sight for, you may see a Rocket and ladder rarely doing that, but when you have the confidence and the comms to ensure that you can make plays like that, not being afraid to go take out the Goddess of Death in the sky and then immediately following up and getting a pick, goes to show you how strong that can be in close range. So we will see the next start here as the Z-Pack gets launched, just to juice out the Bucky. Will Bucky be able to make things happen? Just essentially there to get rid of these group walls with a ton of damage, as we do see the immediate pop there by Pizza Demon.
Yeah, the damage boost, Baser, FlyQuest just smartly back away and sort of waited out. There were some moments where I think Sparky may have isolated Melania with the wall, and there's so much focus from FlyQuest on one of the star players there of, oh man, of Melania. This is really tough. Nightmare are just falling apart, and this is while FlyQuest are getting progress. The spawns are really close from Nightmare, and they also have a portal from Luca, and this could be an Eye of Agamotto that would be really clutch. We'll see if they'll even have time to execute it. The payload's really close to being capped.
Yeah, the portal is out, and they do find some there. Luca having to drop back as they are able to get that ultimate out of place. First of all, I don't even know if Pizza Demon was in the ult, but unable to get a pick as they're forced back due to sheer pressure, as Light is going to start the rampage. Kraken Impact on virtually everyone. The Rocket being left gets punched and lifted into the sky as they do take point 2.
Yeah, FlyQuest expected exactly what I did. Luca portaling in with the Eye of Agamotto, and it had an impact, but what was important is Spark Chief put walls forward so that there was no line of sight from any of the duelists from Nightmare to follow up with the stun that Luca hit on some of the players of FlyQuest. So FlyQuest are having really good reads on what to expect. They're good at predicting the ultimates coming out of Nightmare, and ult tracking is a skill that FlyQuest are doing really well.
Yeah, this is, you know, momentum still is on the side of Fly as the fight begins a little early. Smart Chief does have those walls, those early pressure, that space taking you're trying to do with Vanguards is negated when you have a wall that can shove you off your team, as they are finding success. There goes that wall, and unfortunately down goes Luca. Good play there. These group compositions getting through into the shield comps is so difficult. I mean, obviously Strange does have the jump, getting them a get out of jail free card, but if that cooldown gets used for any reason offensively, you're in trouble as Melania finds energy. Nice pick there back.
Yeah, to shut down energy from going on a flank. Great reads from Melania to try and win some of these 1v1s, because that could also tilt the scales back in either team's favor. And FlyQuest may be behind on numbers. Respawn advantage for Nightmare. The Nightmare are giving up a lot of space once again, and it opens it up for the Kraken Impact from Light.
Yeah, and it will proceed. Looking for, oh, great bubble there. Magneto just understanding the wherewithal to see the low HP and know that it was coming that way as you're going to dump immediate meatball right on Light, who does get rezzed right back, though. Numbers are back even, and here we go as Zelos trying to put some damage out. Unfortunately, not able to make a pick happen as they're very close with 60 seconds on the clock. Gasplin trying to get some sort of ultimate off as they do have the ability to portal. Well, actually, I lied. 102 minutes on the portal, unable to wall off the enemy, so we'll not be able to see that happen here on the final point, but the idea was likely there until they teleported back. Molina gonna find another on Light as we do pop that boundary.
And now the picks go Nightmare's way, but man, the heavy work coming out of Luca to block the Goddess of Death, from Azure to block off to bubble off the Kraken impact. Like, I don't know how Nightmare didn't get capped on. It's all thanks to those Vanguards, and then of course a beautiful finish from Kendrick at the end on the Bucky. But keep in mind, Energy may want to go on a flank again. We'll see if he makes that decision against Molina, who's been marking him a lot better. And at this point of the game, it is so hard for FlyQuest to infiltrate.
Yeah, it's going to be a Q battle here shortly, as we will see everybody trying to find some value. Zelo's going to pop the rocket, but Melania says not today. A lot of those 1v1s have been going Melania's way, and there goes the Eye of Agamotto out. Doesn't find value, unfortunately not returned right back as Kendrick going to start landing the Kraken impact. Down goes Gasplin. Reset again, make that 2. Can we have 3, 4, if you will? And just like that, Nightmare is going to own that pressure and stop him before point 3.
Once again, these Nightmare Vanguards are something else. That Luca block on the Eye of Agamotto was heel of Melania being able to play with the rest of the team. So the Hela can also play conservative without being too isolating themselves.
Yeah, and then you do have that side of when you have an invisible woman on your team, you do get that Guardian shield, allowing the Hela to take these weird angles and have a shield in front of them, which makes it even more terrifying. Burning that 300 shield down prior to getting into a fight with her, it makes it just insanely difficult. You need to have those comms, and you need to be focused on burning that down. It may look scary, but your whole job should be dealing damage and breaking that thing, burning that cooldown for invisible. But here we go again as we start these fights. It is going to be around this outside of the building. Something we mentioned previously on this map is those angles are not always fighting down main anymore. Great work there to angle off Spark Chief. Down goes the Groot, and that's a great early pick here by Nightmare, who has this momentum to take this point early.
Yeah, FlyQuest are just choosing not to chase down eliminations. Like, they had Azure really low, they had Luca low, and FlyQuest played too safe, and maybe this is not paying off. It's now giving 2 ticks over. Gasclean goes in by himself, and the rest of the team didn't have line of sight. They were maybe trying to set up an invisible woman boundary from Cooper and just didn't have the right pieces at least synced up in place. So FlyQuest definitely getting out-tempoed and could actually use more aggression, which is something you don't really say every day.
Yeah, so here we go again, as it looks like the favor's heavily on the attacking side. Will FlyQuest be able to get their momentum on this off-right angle of this alleyway? There is a ton of space being created by the duelist. Kendrick does have that Kraken impact. We do see Azure as well, ready with the Meteor, but very close on both sides to even those out. And here we go with the initiation from Azure. Can we find a pick? Tries to get the rocket out of the sky, unfortunately not turned directly around, as Light is gonna jump right back at him. Down goes Azure, rezzed out. Here comes the ult from Luca out of the invisible boundary. Good decision making there, tough to try to counter that. The group wall gets stuffed too, but still able to get a few, as we do have Hela in the sky.
Yeah, Pizza using the invisible boundary second. Cooper just helping the team survive. A big exchange of Vanguard ultimates of Strangling Prisons, Eye of Agamotto's. Luca getting decent value, maybe catching Spark Chief and maybe one other person, but just heads up play from Gasclean, not having as flexible of a shield to defend against that. As speaking of defending, FlyQuest are going to stop them at this choke point, and Melina has to find a right moment with the Goddess of Death, but has been focused down so many times. Oh, the damage boost coming up from Baser, and the poke battle continues.
Yeah, it's just right now a matter of these early trades prior to the fight. Obviously, right now, Nightmare does have ult advantage. See if they're able to make something happen with the minimal usage, ensuring that they have that economy moving forward. Nightmare does pop that Baser ult, the rocket damage boost, trying to help out something like that Hela off angle. Unfortunately, not able to find any purchase, no KOs there. Still have Melania off in that off angle, still trying to rain damage onto the front line. Gasklin still getting just healed up, just support alt charge City as he's just standing out here soaking this and allowing the off angle hidden strategist to just gain charge, as now the numbers are heading back in Fly's favor in terms of alt charge. And here we go, as it's by Light with a nice early pick, does manage to take out Kendrick. Great positioning there. Ooh, the dunk right back is your great decision as he finds energy lacking in that corner and makes something happen. The group wall, the group off, and there goes two as we lose Melania on the Hella early on, but the fight is still being stalled here by the invisible boundary.
So Luca just got kind of countered on the Eye of Agamotto, and somehow the numbers were even. The invisible woman boundary popped by Pizza Demon is what even kept whatever is left of Nightmare alive. And you got a cracking impact that gets traded. Kendrick shut down. Great reaction at the Spark Chief. Now it's going to be the Meteor M, and it's blocked by the Doctor Strange shield. This, this Hella ult's not going to last too long, but it's a good enough distraction for the front pieces of Nightmare to push in.
Honestly, that's just a communication difference. I honestly thought that was going to not get a ton of value, but the team used that as essentially just treat it like a Vanguard. Got a ton of HP up there in the sky, eyes turned around, and as soon as they turned around, they lost two. Well done there by Nightmare. It may have looked bleak, but it was just big-brained, as Nightmare still got the space with 2 minutes on the clock, still pressing very much towards that point and trying to take this thing into a W.
Yeah, FlyQuest had a disadvantage in timing at the beginning, but they've really kind of traded off that time with this point behold they have so far. Is Nightmare presents themselves 90 seconds to cap, just need to zone it off. It's the Meteor M, it's blocked against the Doctor Strange, or at least against a shield from Gasklin, I mean. And Lucas, speaking of Doctor Strange, has an Eye of Agamotto, and Gasklin has had his number. The Goddess of Death from the defense zones off Nightmare. They'll be ready to retaliate. A Kraken impact as soon as Nightmare have a window engaged on. Kendrick needs to go X Games mode.
Yeah, honestly, Energy, I think it was the iframes from the Goddess of Death to dodge that Meteor, which was really well played. And here we go with the initiations immediately again. 60 seconds on the clock. Everybody pressing the Q button. The trades! Energy gonna get one back on Melania. Luca gonna take out Spark Chief. Numbers back. Oh, the res immediately. Spark Chief back in the fight as FlyQuest still holding on here. Luca trying to take the height, unfortunately not able to get there. 100 HP does drop back and does get healed up. Trying to reset as a unit, but unfortunately the duelists are forced out. Great positioning here from Energy, trying to find a angle into the back line. Oh, yep, great focus. What a bunch of plays. My goodness.
Yeah, this is why Melania has had to just babysit Energy this whole time, and why everyone bans the Hella against FlyQuest. Also, so frustrating to play against FlyQuest with this rocket, the revives from that, plus the close respawn advantage. You have to be careful how far they go. They can get walled off here, but FlyQuest are just... They cannot be fully team wiped, and Nightmare have been so close. They've thrown Eyes of Agamotto's, they've thrown every ultimate. Now the portal to try and catch FlyQuest off guard.
Yeah, it was a good touch, and they did find value. This may be enough for them. The portal play potentially clutching this thing up. It is going to clutch it. Oh my goodness, good ultimate there as they are going to hit the sky. Energy going to try to get a pick here to hold on, and down goes Energy. Down goes Cooper as Kendrick is going to start sweeping, trying to get them point two, all from a portal play. Nightmare not giving up and making something happen.
More to push those respawns to the edge, but only a minute now is left from Nightmare, and they still have to go kind of inside the base of FlyQuest.
Yeah, it was crazy to witness because, you know, on the side of FlyQuest, they push in heavy onto their spawn door. I don't think they thought Strange was going to be able to get a teleport off after all the damage that they dealt, but they waited to the drop back. People were able to hold on, and the positioning and timing of those comms, everyone just collapsed in, even if they didn't go through the portal, and got there to point and made stuff happen. Kendrick popping off there with the limited ammo, the Z button. Oh, and here we go, trying to stop the Meteor M, but it does not find value as the double shield comp is very difficult to get a meatball there onto the back line. But here we go, as Pizza falls, Energy gonna press Q up into the sky. Unfortunately, natural cover here from the building, but they are gonna pre-press him. Well, that is a tough look, and it finally pressures through that wall, looking for the rocket now, who is gonna fall. Good damage there by Energy. Oh my goodness, they are able to find value. Great iframe there. And Fly does get this back with 5 seconds. Will they be able to hold on, or is this going to go directly back to FlyQuest, who's going to take map 2?
Yeah, series point, and I thought that was just such a good while on the other side you have Kendrick that have, well, I guess technically double pulls, and that's their neutral win con.
Here we go as the fights begin. Taking that early space, Invis gonna get some poke, get a fair amount of alt charge there on the attack. 27%, almost 28 off the rip with that really good placement. And here comes the fight. The group wall's up, using that jump as we talked about to buy the space back. Good tackle there. Nice work there by Light to get an early pick on Millennia, giving them the advantage off rip. The res is out now. At least they knew that they had that ready. So nothing major in terms of the trade. They do have rocket on both sides, so we will have that available for FlyQuest as we continue this fight.
Yeah, with the Star-Lord, you can hunt down that res beacon a little easier. I mean, the Hela can too, but obviously Energy is focused on being a laser. And FlyQuest, this aggression is really well tempered. A beautiful wall and pull from the FlyQuest side, and Nightmare don't really have a chance to retake.
Yeah, we saw back-to-back wall plays there, walling up the entirety of the team, leaving Strange vulnerable, and then immediately turning initially and taking out that Magneto after the team was walled off. I mean, it just goes to show you how strong this composition is. If you want the group to be available, in my opinion, you got to have something to answer it. They're trying here with the Bucky combination to put it on the duelist to burn these walls down, but unfortunately, even a fraction of a second being isolated is all it takes at this level to get a pick on the Vanguard in the front line. So just showed how strong that group could be as they just walked through the first point.
And just walking this like a dog, like when our Nightmare gonna kind of wake up and do something. It almost Light gets walled off from trying to tackle someone. This is good isolation. Slicing and dicing is Gasklin. And it's the Meteor, and not gonna do much. A great block from the other side. Azure will be ready with his response. You got a damage boost from Baser, and Nightmare still hoping for a responding pick and a double tackle, but it's a three-man CC from the other side from Nightmare trying to disrupt, and finally some signs of life to push Fly to the edge before they could just full cap without much to say back.
Yeah, it shows you the power of off angles, right? Millennia just finding the back line during that battle. So it may have looked from our point of view that I was heading on the side of FlyQuest, but Millennia getting those few picks drove the team to reset. So goes to show you that you don't always want to be fighting down main, even with double shield. Find that off angle, get a single pick, and it can turn the entire tide of the fight. So that was just really well done there on this hold and this choke over on this right side, not allowing these duelists and strategists to get up to their vanguards.
Getting the Astral Flock out is pretty big, and the Goddess of Death, just so both teams, both Hellas can get their second lives, and a good Doctor Strange shield from Luca to make sure Energy doesn't get any shots or much damage into the fight. And FlyQuest have to round this corner. Their res is back up from the Millennia side, and it's Nightmare that are shifting things back and not rounding this corner, just holding their ground and hoping to draw out as much time from this FlyQuest bank.
Armed and just a masterclass play back and forth here from these Hellas, just looking really clean, but it does go in the favor of Energy. Gasklin and Energy gonna find two more, and FlyQuest walking into point two here, heading in with 4 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock on the final point.
This is a lot on Millennia to try and keep Energy not to be a server admin, and you just saw that if Millennia doesn't chase that, if Energy just flocks away, then Energy comes and eliminates three. Like, you need to shut down Energy, and this is why everyone bans the Hela. This single-handedly could just give FlyQuest the win, because they have 4 minutes in this time bank, and Nightmare can try and draw out a lot of time from this corner, but they have to have a stable Vanguard front line.
Yeah, there is going to be a little bit of a pacing switch as we do see, actually, I lied. FlyQuest holding on to 3 ultimates. I thought they used a fair amount in that last fight, but no, they did not. Still have ult advantage on this fight. Gasklin trying to cut the left side. Energy going to walk it down main right now because all the attention being drawn to the left. Here comes the rocket. Energy again going to take out Millennia. Make that 2 as Azure goes down. The res gets popped. Millennia back in the fight, and here comes the strangling prison. Will they find enough value as we will see Luca now on the group?
Yeah, I don't think Nightmare have really won a team fight since maybe once on point B. Like, they got rolled and bulldozed on point A to just now getting farmed in their own spawn, and there's 3.5 minutes. If Nightmare don't win a fight here, this map is pretty over because this time bank's going to be unsurmountable. And you even took Luca out of spawn before he was ready. Oh, wow.
Oh, that's a lot of time on the clock there. FlyQuest is feeling themselves, and they push this thing
play,
through.
but still Nightmare have a chance to do even better, but they have to go all the way at the end.
It looks like they're trying to get a little bit more of that anti-wall comp, as you do see Squirrel Girl coming out here, does a great job of burning those walls down. Luca going to be on the Groot, and Azure going to be on the Mag. They actually swapped right before the door opened, probably having some communication around what they feel more comfortable on, what they want to run here to match this, because they were struggling into that comp. I do think Groot is in just such a good spot right now. It's difficult to not play him unless you really dedicate a comp to this, which they're trying to do here. So Gascon on the off angle, trying to get Melina, almost managing to make that happen. Good idea, good angle, and good shots there, but the fight still being kind of stalled as we do see a bubbled up dive there from Light.
And the 1v1 between both Hellas. Energy always gets within that stun distance and now has opened up the flank potential. Melina will be respawned, so there's more on that plate. Remember, there's a Squirrel Girl, by the way. Fantastic pocket pick, and even the push away on the Invisible Girl against the Wolverine. Or actually, that was the pullback. This Squirrel Girl is to burst down these Groot walls and to force their way through the Vanguards. And then you got the Squirrel Tsunami to just rain down hell, but it still wasn't enough. Not with this Wolverine on the field from Light.
Cooper gets picked there by Melina, but real quick, that was disgusting to see. That invis damage, throws out the orb, pulls the Squirrel right back into it when she tries to dash away, burning that cooldown, and then just raining and getting a solo pick while still holding on to that ultimate is dirty work as they try to get back out. Gaslin gonna get ulted on, holding on. Here comes the invis boundaries. Melina trying to get that pick on Cooper and does make it happen. Well done there. Use the right click and do enough damage. Strictly on headshots. Gorgeous play, playing off that group ult, which was really well done, if I might add, on the side of Luca, getting a full team with it, and that is going to help them push this thing forward. They needed that.
Absolutely. Bit of a slower pace, but they still will have actually one more fight to go for point A, so this could be even just another minute off the clock, and you got probably a res beacon being set up from Zelos, so let's see how many ults that FlyQuest can get out of Nightmare. That's sort of their silver lining. FlyQuest are not going to have as much space to work with, but Nightmare may just push this to the end. We need to see a FlyQuest touch, and they're going to come in at the last second.
Yeah, they tried to wall off. I like the idea there. Enough damage here. Yes, this is where Groot excels. You saw that, canceling out that Meteor Ram, because you can't eat the damage of the twigs raining on you, as Melina got to find a few, and they do get point one. Nightmare now getting some confidence as they are able to sweep and push this thing forward, and they do have time on the clock.
Yeah, FlyQuest got a lot of ults out of Nightmare, though, like 3 or 4, and this is going to be a lot less in the tank, and still 4 minutes. Like, you're going to have several cycles of ultimates going down, but we'll see how much progress FlyQuest will allow this, right? If they could force more fights, that means more time Nightmare have to spend to win those fights. And it's very hard to team wipe a team with 2 strategists, especially ones that have invisible barriers soon, at least Cooper soon. And that's Kendrick getting kidnapped there by Light, and he's eliminated.
Yeah, well done. Just those offers, you got to be always ready for that. It's so difficult to handle. Great placement of the walls as we see FlyQuest utilize that. Remember, you can deal damage around the walls as a teammate, and they still will attack as... Ooh, they're trying to follow this up. Great Guardian. Oh, my goodness. Fly. Just so back and forth here, finding value post-ultimate as they do drop 2 more and own this space.
Good win for FlyQuest. 3 more minutes to go. And that Invisible Woman barrier, again, that's the next level sustain, but we always underrate the line of sight block that produces. So Pizza Demon conserving it for this fight means if they can take an aggressive stance, putting that invisible boundary in the opponent's space is going to slow them and create a lot of chaos that could favor Nightmare coming up.
Yeah, it's just been a consistent story here. We're seeing just really strong play. Obviously, some big plays there from Nightmare to take over the first point, but FlyQuest just acting like it didn't phase them, and we're up in the sky now. Kendrick is going to find Groot. Nice pick there. The reset, make that 2. Kendrick on a rampage. Going to keep running. The team trying to hide. Get out of there. It's like a horror movie. You got to run for your life as they are pressing. Another pick there by Energy to turn it back in their favor a little bit to get rid of that res as Baser does fall, and they do retake this space, I believe. No, Nightmare's still holding on up here. And they are going to reset. Should be able to retouch, though. Not going to have to utilize the Strange, but those walls are going to make it difficult to get through these tight chokes.
And Energy picking off Baser is just a strategist left behind, and Nightmare, that'll get him back for this next fight, but a momentum that was really killed from that moment. Fantastic job, though, from Kendrick, and they put a lot of eggs in the Kendrick basket. He's won them some fights solo before, but this off angle from Energy needs to be kept in check. Melina needs to help, and Baser is down again.
Yeah, they are going to get this face back. I'm surprised. Nightmare looked really good there for a moment in terms of confidence. Azure going to take out Energy, but it gets turned right back around as Luca on the group falls. Energy going to get rezzed up, so numbers still heavily in Fly's favor. The dunk from above. Meteor not able to find value. Sparkchief going to take out Kendrick. Another KO, showcasing how strong this group. Good ult there just to try to sweep and stagger, and they are going to get 2 more as FlyQuest is showcasing they've got what it takes to proceed in this tournament, trying to end this with 1 minute on the clock.
And FlyQuest can cycle their win conditions. Now they have the Wolverine ult and the invisible boundary if things get a little hairy. And that could also be to counter the strangling prison from Luca coming up. And Melina has to find a moment where, well, there's not going to be a Doctor Strange in your face this time. And how are these ults going to be used too early? FlyQuest are always pushing spawn, and the strangling prison plus the Kraken impact is hurting FlyQuest. Maybe this defense pushed their luck a little too much, but Kendrick isn't getting the resets, and he'll manage to get to safety as well.
A very unfortunate chance. They're trying to get the pick. Was very close to making it happen. Great focus by the strategist in the backline to see that happening and not allow it to proceed forward, potentially winning the entire fight from 22 seconds on the clock. At this point, trying to get this pick to turn the tides in their favor. That position is going to be very tough there. Gasling going down is massive for Nightmare. It doesn't look like there's a res up right now, so they won't be able to own back and turn the numbers back even. Here we go as we get the invisible boundary up in the sky. Melania going to take out Energy, and once again, Nightmare has a chance at pushing this into point 2.
FlyQuest also reversed a lot of progress with how much spawn pushing they were doing, so it's going to take a lot of effort out of Nightmare and just keeping their backline safe. Look at the strangling prison. What is going on? And this backline's in trouble, and try to get out of it and try to forgive his mistakes as Azure, and the Meteor Ram doesn't eat up enough damage, and Nightmare will start from behind, but Kendrick gets them back on top.
Oh, the very unfortunate news is that Melania did have ultimate there when they used that Kraken strangling prison, which honestly, may have been a discussion they had prior. Did they do actually get the point there? I thought it was going to go in the favor of Fly. They committed a lot to stuffing Melania prior to that fight, trying to make sure they could not get that ultimate off, which they weren't able to do, but still went in the favor of Nightmare as they push towards point 3. Nightmare may have found their footing, but they've got 1 minute to shove this through. No mistakes now to try to tie this up and push to OT, but even in OT, Fly with 3 minutes.
Yeah, with how extended this fight will be, FlyQuest could also just push your spawn if they win. So this is going to be the best chance for Nightmare. And they don't have Vanguard ultimates. You also have Azure on his last leg as Light tried to go for the ult, and it doesn't hit. 1 win con down. A great wall to try and hit this Magneto, and it's capitalized on by Azure.
They're moving with this momentum. Great bubble there to save Luca on the side of Azure with making sure that Wolverine did not connect. The res is back up for Luca. The fight's back in their favor. Melania, great pick on Spark. They are clutching up in this moment. Something you want to see as a Nightmare fan. They're starting to get their footing. Melania, they have ult advantage too. This is starting to look towards their favor. 28 seconds on this final fight, and the Wolverine is around, trying to ensure he doesn't get that early pick, holding them in their spawn door. You can actually deal damage through that little window there. A lot of people don't understand that. You can actually apply a ton of pressure, and look at this. Yep, there's the revenge as Melania is going to find Energy on that off angle, and this could be a W towards Nightmare, pushing this into OT.
Stabilization, though, with the invisible boundary from Cooper. Great marking from Melina, as he pointed out, against the duelists that were going for flanks. But it's all about this defense and this Meteor M, and it's nicely negated from Azure. The strangling prison from Sparkchief and Nightmare are still healthy on the front lines. It's the Goddess of Death to rain just that, and Energy's gonna pop his. Another life and more health to play with, and the Goddesses are going crazy, and the front lines are starting to crumble, and Nightmare are running out of gas, and they just can't wake up.
Oh my goodness, it's back and forth like crazy. The numbers are now being traded. Fly gets 2 more, Melania gets Energy. It's so back and forth. The rest is gone for both sides. At this point, it's one last fight. Who can get it done? It looks like Sparkchief's gonna get another. Down goes Kendrick. The lockdown, and down goes Melania as it's starting to look like Fly's gonna take this thing home. Here comes the Wolverine. Light takes out Baser, and just like that, FlyQuest is going to take home the W and end the series 3.